Everybody, this is Joel from WolfPacAZ's, giving you guys a good old to sweet, letting you guys know that we are coming to you guys with another weekly review slash predictions going into a very busy week for WWE and also AEW. But we're going to go over this week's Raw, SmackDown, and NXT because they actually do preface and have contributions to this weekend's coming up shows, which are Saturday night's main event and Great American Bash presented by NXT, both on Saturday, and WWE's Evolution pay-per-view that's on Sunday, along with AEW's All In on Saturday. So it's a busy week coming up because you also still have Raw, SmackDown, Collision, Dynamite, NXT that you have to go through. So we're just going to go ahead and run through some of the things that happened last week because there was still a lot of big news, even though SmackDown was pre-taped and we kind of knew the things ahead of time. We're just going to go run through them and then see where that takes us going into this week. And then let us know what you guys think and what your favorite show is going to be. What show are you looking forward to coming up for this weekend? Personally, I think it's been a long time coming, but I'm really looking forward to this Evolution show. I really hope that they can bring the product that they had at the last one, which has been nearly 7 years at this point. So unfortunate for them to even have to wait this long, but I really hope for the best for that show as a whole. But I really hope that the rest of the shows can kind of bring out this. Not that I'm not enthusiastic about them. I know we've been talking about them on the chat, especially in regards to Goldberg being on Saturday night's main event and the Great American Bash kind of not being this as popular or as anticipated as we want it to be. Obviously, we feel like it's kind of this counterproduction that they are running against AEW. So it's just more media for them to kind of have against them. So let's just go ahead and go into Raw real quick. It was on June 30th, so the final day of June. Some of the key things that we're going to talk about, or just even brush upon, are the fact that we have new tag team champs, in which the Judgment Day defeated the New Day, clean, huge baby faces. Finn Balor got a huge hot tag. Good for him. That guy's a really underrated talent. And JD is kind of a really like he's kind of on that tier underneath him. Good for both of them. So keeps Judgment Day strong. By the end of the night, they'll all have belts, which we can kind of touch upon. We can actually just touch it upon it here, which is basically that at a certain point in the night, they kind of resolved the tag team situation by having Roxanne take over the spot. Everyone kind of agreed to it tentatively. Obviously, Liv Morgan kind of looms over this group as a whole. So we wait for her to come back, and obviously, we really think that she'll be like the biggest baby face the company will have at that point. But uh, now Roxanne is the tag team champion with Raquel Rodriguez, which gives all of them belts. So um, good for them. It keeps them strong. So it's really good. We have Rhea Ripley who had a promo basically denouncing that she was done with Judgment Day. And overall, the main premise of this promo was that Io Sky came out and basically told her that I challenged you, so they will have the women's title match at Evolution, which I'm really looking forward to. But I'm really concerned that's where Rio might take it. I'm looking at the card, and there's not that many things that I could see changing hands. So I can see this changing hands. We have the Gunther promo, which kind of leads into a lot of different variety. So basically, what this leads into is Gunther kind of um, proclaiming himself to be the best. That he'll run through Gunther, or sorry, that he'll run through Goldberg, and so we sorry, I'm going through the notes here real quick. But basically, Seth Rollins comes out. Seth Rollins reveals that he was basically just trying to mess with CM Punk at the Night of Champions, which caused CM Punk to come out. Um, he actually, let's see here. Um, yeah, so basically, all of this encompassed to the fact that, Punk and Gunther had an interaction. LA Knight came out and attacked Rollins, which is going to lead into their match at Saturday night's main event between LA Knight and Seth Rollins. And then, so you have all four of these superstars will are interacting with each other, so it can lead to a lot of different avenues. And I think one of the ones that we are coming down on or coming up on would probably be CM Punk versus Gunther. So I think this is just the start of that. So they're kind of just setting the seeds for that feud down the line. So I anticipate Gunther to give Goldberg the best match he can, but it's if anyone's up for the task, it's going to be him because he really loves him. So we have Bailey and Lyra Valkyria. I think people could have anticipated that this was going to end up in a double DQ, count out, double something that would give both of them the credence to challenge Becky Lynch, probably at Evolution. So anticipate something there, but that could be another one where the title changes and Becky doesn't have to, take it. So, and then the main event was Sammy and Penta, who lost to Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. That's where Sammy got attacked by Karrion Cross, so they're continuing the feud there. So maybe down the line we'll see the Sammy heel turn that people are anticipating. But I think a lot of people, or at least the people that we talk to in our community, kind of anticipate Sammy to be the front runner for the Rumble for next year. So I think it's just pushing past these demons, getting to that point. So that was Raw. So the impetus there is we get the Rhea Ripley Io Sky women's championship match for Evolution. We'll probably get the Lyra Valkyria and Bailey versus Becky Lynch match as well. We did get a funny goof of Chad Gable being at surgery, so unfortunately he could not be there to, help American Made. He did leave uh, Ivy Nile in charge. I'm a pretty big fan of Ivy Nile, honestly, so I'm really hoping this is a good vehicle for her. But we did get El Grande Americano cameo appearance, and the man's looking rather different. So we'll leave that to your guys' imagination and see what that's all about. But hey, man's looking shredded. That's all I could say. And yeah, we got the Judgment Day Tag Team Championships plus resolution to the Women's Tag Team Championship. And they'll also be defending their tag team titles. Raquel and Liv, not Liv, Roxanne at Evolution against teams from NXT, SmackDown, and Raw. So a fatal four way. So yeah, that was Raw. Let's go ahead and go to NXT real quick. Um, NXT was also setting up things for the Great American Bash. We had Joe Hendry defeated Wesley in a very good match, kind of setting up the triple threat that they're going to have. I believe at Slammiversary. Let me go ahead and look at actually. Let's see. Yeah, because they have one also on July 20th. So in a few weeks, Joe Hendry and Mike Santana will be challenging Trick Williams for the TNA world title. So they're setting up those little nooks and crannies there. Wow. We're gonna actually look at that card because that card has some strong implications by the end of it. So we have Miles Bourne defeating Lexus King. I really like Miles Bourne as a character. The surprise battle royal winner that led into the world title shot with Elba Femi recently was a nice change of pace for me personally. We have Thea Hale and Lainey Reed. I think this just Reed, you know, she's starting to get a little popular with the crowd, so it's natural for that. But basically, the bottom line here is that Izzy Dame defeated Sol Ruka in a tag team match, which sets her up for the North American Women's Championship at Great American Bash. So kind of gives Izzy Dane a little bit more something to do. But hey, that's good for her. New challenges are really much needed. That's kind of how you build people up. And with the exodus that they've had, and with um, they kind of have to feed this new crop. So this is just kind of the natural way to do it. And even if Soul Ruger retains, I anticipate that to be a very good showing for Izzy Dane. And we have Inamura defeating Troy in the main event, which is good because Inamura is going against Obafemi at the Great American Bash. And Inamura's been a really nice surprise. If you don't know who he is, he's from Noah, which is where Jason Biggs or Briggs went out there and they became a tag team. And um, overall, a really nice talent. surprisingly talent exchange that they've done that's been successful for not only him and Jason Briggs, but also um, God, he's the other member of No Catch Crew. I can't think of his name, but he also did a tour of um, Pro Wrestling Noah, which was beneficial for him as well because he those two guys had a great match. Tavion Heights. Uh, Anyways, that's NXT. So it sets up basically a strong challenger from Inamura, and then we got the new challenger from Izzy Dane and um, for Sol Ruka. So it's a simple show, but we're getting seeds planted there, so good for them. Keeps the colon um, like in perspective in storylines because it's a really weak faction. But I really like Izzy Dane. SmackDown pre-recorded. I think the biggest news was that we know who Tiffany Stratton will be defending her title against at Evolution, which is Trish Stratus. So what a perfect like a company of like basically two similar embodiments of well of personalities, and then basically clashing. So it's gonna be very interesting. I do anticipate Stratton to successfully defend her title, but it'll be nice to see Trish back. Cody Rhodes and Jade Cargill basically celebrate the fact that they won King of the Ring. During Cody's speech, he got interrupted by Orton, who basically stated that if he hadn't hesitated, he would have won. Whatever. We got Drew McIntyre came out, and that led into an interaction where he basically got laid out by Orton, which sets up Saturday night's main event between those two. But it can also lead into a plethora of things where we can see a run back of Rhodes and Orton and McIntyre, obviously, and then Rhodes and McIntyre, because um, I think it's just one of the natural progressions, especially if Rhodes wins the belt off Cena. I could definitely see McIntyre being the first challenger for Rhodes. So we have one of the qualifier for that aforementioned Fatal Four Way Tag Team Women's Tag Team Championship match for Evolution. Secret Her Service, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, and versus I believe it was the Mishin and BFAB. Basically, Flair and Bliss win. This is just kind of keeping them busy. I don't know where this goes. But hey, I mean, if Charlotte can't be here, she's got to be somewhere, and this is as close to being here as she can be. And I think this is not where Alexa Bliss needs to be as well. I think there's a lot of wasted opportunity with her. We got an interesting concept with the Wyatt Six. They face one member of the top contending tag teams in a match in which they won. So it looks like they're probably back in line for another tag team title shot. In which case, I think they'll win. And then we had Fraxium versus Andrade and Ray Phoenix. This was heat. Everyone in the group chat was going off about this. I think Andrade Phoenix is just a really solid thrown together team, which is ironic because Fraxium was originally a thrown together team of basically the same kind of concept, a luchador who couldn't get any screen time and a really good hand who couldn't get any screen time, and then they ran as probably one of the greatest tag teams recently, if not in a long time for WWE. So a really, really good match that I think people should go watch. But Phoenix and Andrade won. I think that's twice that they've won now. So maybe down the line they're the next challengers, but maybe the Wyatt Six failed and these guys come up. But and then in the main event we have Jacob Fatu and Jimmy Uso against Solo Sikoa and JC Mateo. I think this sets up basically a run back between Fatu and Sikoa. Um, so it doesn't. I mean, we see Talala, Talatonga. I want to call him Tongaloa. Talatonga show up and kind of have another run in with Fatu, and they put Fatu to the announce table, which is the big spot of the night. But Fatu did get the win, so it is. We're gonna see that run back here pretty soon. None of those for now, like that didn't set up anything for this upcoming weekend. That could always change. They could add a last minute match to Saturday night's main event. But overall, the I think the bigger standing points from here were the fact that Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair are going to Evolution, and we got the um, uh, Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton for Saturday night's main event. So let's go into Great American Bash because as of right now we have three matches. We have the Izzy Dane versus Sol Ruka, which again is by Dane defeating Ruka in the tag match. I anticipate Ruka to win. We had the tag team match and basically her PLE debut of Blake Monroe, the former Mariah May, tag teaming up with Jordan Grace, who's having a busy weekend herself, against Fatal Influence of JC Jane and Fallon Henley. So this basically probably sets up a fall against JC Jane, again, and the lead up to the Evolution match. But yeah, this should be a good outing for all of them. JCJ needs to look really strong. I think the title reign came out of nowhere for most people. So but I think Blake Monroe gets this, and I think Fallon is probably the weak link here. And then we have what I presume is the main event, which is Yoshiki Inamura against Obafemi. So probably a good, solid match, a meaty match. So I can anticipate a lot of beef being flung around and a really, really strong showing from Inamura, probably to win over the crowd. But I think Femi gets this, and who knows where we'll go from there. But that's Great American Bash. We're going to go into Saturday night's main event because that also only has three matches right now. But I don't anticipate it going past four unless they're trying to give things time because we have LA Knight and Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, and then Gunther and Goldberg. They might add in a last minute title match there to kind of pop the crowd. We could get anything from the tag team match with the Wyatt Six to Solo and Fatu. Who knows? But I anticipate Gunther to retain. This is Goldberg's retirement match. Hopefully, that's only as true as we want it to be. But money talks. And then we have Evolution, which right now is at seven matches. Oh, actually, we got the confirmation. That's probably why it was in my head. But we do have Bailey, Lyra, and Becky Lynch. I don't know why that was okay, because that literally just came out today. Uh, Look at me knowing my information. We have Naomi and Jade Cargill having the no hold barred match. I just think that was natural from the last interaction, even though Jade Cargill like she's already beaten her. Whatever. We have Trish and Stratton, or Trish Stratus, and against Tiffany Stratton. Um, just a singles match. We have the Battle Royal, which gets a women's championship, a women's world championship title shot at Tasha Paris. We have a few participants announced here. We have Ivy Nile, Stephanie Vergara, Nia Jax. We might get some, cameos. Might get some TNA stars. It should be a pretty interesting match. So, one to look forward to if you're looking for kind of this nostalgia pop slash Forbidden Door element to the show, which I think also can kind of go into our next match. Um, which is the Raquel Rodriguez, Roxanne Perez defending against Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. However, the two other teams will be from Raw and NXT, so they're staying within their parameters there. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, which I think will be the main event for the women's world title, the women's world championship, and then JC Jane will be defending against Jordan Grace. Those two will have interacted the night before, so that's the card for that. I really want to go into this card real quick, or sorry, this week's Monday Night Raw, which is the go home show for Evolution and Saturday night's main event. So basically, um, so Becky Lynch will address her triple threat, and then we have four matches announced, which sounds pretty big. We have Seth Rollins, he's going to go against Penta. Main event, Jey Uso will go one-on-one against Big Bronson Reed. Sami Zayn will challenge Braun Breaker, and Roxanne Perez will face off against Kairi Sane, which makes sense because she did state that for her joining Judgment Day, she will personally take care of Kairi Sane, who would be the one who I think in storyline taken out and physically took out Liv Morgan. So that's good. I mean, hey, that's just it keeps that storyline consistent. They're just playing off the natural progression of how things are going, which is fine. But unfortunate that Liv is not there for what I would have perceived to have been um, her and Raquel against the Bellas. I want to talk about Slammiversary before we go into All In real quick because it actually mentions a couple of things here with WWE superstars and incoming WWE superstars. So some things that are of note here are we are going to get a Mustafa Ali versus Cedric Alexander match, the singles match, which if you were a 205 live match, you know that those guys threw out bangers and nobody was watching. So really looking forward to that. We have the aforementioned three-way match with Joe Hendry and Mike Santana challenging Trick Williams, which I believe Mike takes. I don't know, but I think it goes back to TNA. And then we have um, what I think is my bigger takeaway, well, just from a visual standpoint, is we have a title versus title match, which looks like it's for both, uh, as in they'll both be the champion. So the TNA Knockouts World Championship and then the NXT World Champion Women's Championship. So right now we have Masha Slamovich for TNA will defend. This is for the 20th, so the weekend afterwards, against either the winner of JC Jane and Jordan Grace. So very interesting, a very a pretty loaded card. Um, we got a four-way ladders match for the tag team championship between the Nemeths for the champions, the Hardys, the Rascals, and First Class. So pretty pretty solid card on by presentation wise. And then for your AEW fans, just because like I have interest in this too, in terms of it's really hard to keep up with so much and then also watch AEW too. But I'm a big fan of the pay-per-views because they're always blowaways. And I think they do a good enough job for me because I've already contextually know more in terms of wrestling to kind of pick up on what's going on. And some of these matches look like they're going to hit for me. I'm a big fan of gauntlet matches, even though people hate them, and we're going to get two in one night, but that's neither here nor there. We do have Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay against the Young Bucks. So if Ospreay and Strickland lose, they cannot challenge for the world titles for a year, and then the Young Bucks will lose their EVP titles if they lose. So I expect that to take about a half hour to go through. Kyle Fletcher and Adam Cole for the AEW TNT Championship is, I mean, I really like Kyle Fletcher, so I think he's going to take that. I really hope he does at least. And then we have the three big matches, which is Mercedes Moné um, challenging Tony Storm for the AEW Women's World Championship. So the belt collector is collecting, and it's kind of nerve-wracking if she can kind of do it. So uh, I don't know where this goes. I know she's the Owen Hart Women's Cup champion, and I think that they want to keep that strong. So maybe she just takes that. We have Hangman Adam Page against John Moxley in a Texas Death Match. I mean, that's going to be crazy. Does that main event over this next match though, in which I think that Hangman wins? Kazuchika Okada defending the Continental title versus Kenny Omega in the International Championship, defending the International Championship to unify to the AEW Unified Championship. Which there's a photo here, and it looks fine. Um, Basically a unification match. This is a long time coming. If you watch their 2017 to 2018 matches, you know that these were some of the greatest matches, or maybe the most hated matches. There probably is no middle. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a strong end to the card for them. So they have a very big card, um, a very big presentation. And I'm not sure if they'll add any more. They'll probably add more participants to the gauntlet, which I think is where everyone else will be. Not sure how long the gauntlets will be, if they're 15 or 20. Um, so I expect that to be a lot of maybe where we get more new faces, incoming superstars from WWE or just anywhere else. But yeah, that's kind of what's in store for this upcoming weekend. And I'm sure there's things that I've missed here too. As I look up basically what else is coming up. I think that we are seeing a lot of counter production. Um, yeah, for All In. which looks like a loaded card again. But personally, again, I'm looking forward to this Evolution card. I really hope it has a good impact overall. I really hope that we see more of this going forward and it doesn't feel like this tacky thing, which initially it was because it was just a sorry for not going to Saudi Arabia, which they shouldn't be going to, but I'm sorry. Um, Come after me. I don't know, not come after me, but like, hey, like it's neither here nor there. It's just very aggravating. Okay, the G1 doesn't start for a while. Okay, that'll be busy too if you're a New Japan fan, but we can talk about that later on a future date. We'll be back next weekend with a um live sorry, we'll be coming live with a stream of Saturday night's main event next weekend and possibly Great American Bash if it's available. But we're also going to be doing a lot of stuff that night too with the Wolfpack gang, which is for future videos and future content for you guys to check on. We really appreciate the support. I know that's kind of been a little sluggish lately. Summer's kind of been doing that to me lately. So I'm really hoping to catch up on not only that, but also wrestling. um, it's just been this thing that I've been watching for nearly 25 years now. And no matter how much it sucks, there's always an aspect of wrestling that I could always watch. And now that I have the Wolfpack and those people in my life, it makes watching wrestling way more entertaining. We always bitch, we always complain, and it's honestly, it makes every event different. We have a league, we do things on the side, we do fan fusion, and those are honestly things that we couldn't really, you know, have done without the support of you guys. So let's continue that. Hopefully, we can go to more cons, more content from wrestling shows. We are nitty gritty and try to get down to to see as much product as we can here in Phoenix. And here's hoping that we get a crew going for WrestleMania when those tickets come out. But they do cost an arm and a leg, so please, WWE, make it reasonable. And yeah, until next time, please like, subscribe, tell your friends about us. And if you guys have any comment or any content that we should be watching in regards to wrestling, so we could, you know, give our reactions to or, get a different perception on, let us know. But until next time, I've been Joel. You guys have a great one. And until next time, which I probably already said, see you sweet.
The preceding announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.